played like we were capable of playing, and that one's over. Got a really good Wofford team coming in here. I think that's probably the most improved team in our league from last year to this year. And it'll be a challenge for us Saturday. They're well coached. Went on the road, beat a good Richmond team. I think they had William & Mary beat at home at one point in time. And, so they've played some folks and played well, and they're playing at a pretty high level. And we'll have to go play well on Saturday because I think they're a very, very good football team. So, we'll see. But excited about being home. It's been a while. Looking forward to playing at home, even though we'll be wearing road uniforms. But I look forward to playing at home. So after that, questions.
What's worked well for your offense maybe in the past couple of weeks? Anything?
Just executed a little better. I mean, that's the things we just executed a little better. We simplified some things, but that's the biggest thing. We prepared pretty well the last couple of weeks, offensively and defensively. Got some things to clean up, but I think those guys have prepared pretty well, and we've been able, and it's one thing to say you go practice, have a good practice, but you got to carry it over to the game and go execute and do those things, and we've managed to do that.
I know Jay Gibson's coming in here. You've mentioned his name a couple of times when he's been out and how that hurts the offense. What is it that he brings that seems to help a little bit?
When you got a 6-year or whatever year he's in, 6'5", 250-pound tight end that's played a lot of football, and you can put him at the point of attack, and he can set an edge, and you can go catch the football as well and do those things. It creates another gap that they have to account for defensively, and then if he can get off the ball and go do some things, and he's smart. He knows how to make sure people are lined up the right way, and he's just as good as a quarterback. He's been in the system for a while now and played a lot of football, but he's huge. He's huge for what we do, and he's huge for those young guys that are out there. And it helps us a bunch when he's playing. He's a different type player for us.
You touched on it a bit, but did it surprise you anymore when you have these 6-year guys, 7-year guys, or however many years they've been here?
The numbers are getting smaller and smaller, and I think you'll start seeing that go away in the next year or two. We'll be past this COVID stuff, and about the only way you'll get one. I think eventually they'll give you the 5-year deal. I think they're going to give them 5 years and let them do that and then be done. And the only way you'll get one from here on out like that is if it's a medical something early in the season. So those numbers are getting smaller and smaller. I'm thankful we got the one we have. I really am. I'm thankful he decided to play another year and start life a little later and do those kind of things. And I think he's probably happy about that too. So, come on, bring it on. You're good.
Thanks.
Yep, no problem.
Have you, by chance, met his entire family?
At some point in time, I actually met his dad, or actually saw his dad up at a Lee. My niece was playing basketball at Lee University, and he was in the stands, and I had an opportunity to talk to him. It's been 5 years ago. Mom and a brother came on a visit when I was at Georgia State, and we were recruiting him. So, I've got to know him pretty well, through the years. But good people, just you can tell he was raised right. And that's something we don't say in this day and age very much, so.
When you say Wofford is probably the most improved team in the conference, what have they improved on that jumps out to you?
Well, I think you see, last year they finished the year, I think they wound up beating the Citadel and Furman in their last 2 games. And you can see that carry over into this year. They go to Gardner-Webb and win the first game of the year. They go to Richmond the next week, beat a good ranked Richmond team, and you can see their level of play. You can see how much it's improved from week 1 of a year ago until now. You can see them understanding, what Coach Watson's wanting them to do, how they're trying to play, the style of play he wants. It shows up. It shows up on film. It shows up, when you watch them go play on both sides of the ball. And Sean's been in the, we were talking earlier, Sean's been in the business a long time. He's seen a lot of football and knows what he wants. And those kids believe in what they're doing. You can see that. You can see that in their effort and their play. And I think they're one of the best teams in our league right now. I really do, just because of how they are improving from week to week.
How nice is it in this league? I don't think you face a true triple option team anymore.
Knock on wood. I'm thankful. I can promise you that. It's, our league has changed, kind of started changing a couple of years ago, when it comes to all that, when they changed the rule. But even before that, it was starting to change a little bit, so I don't miss it at all. I really don't. Those are some long Saturdays. I mean, even if you're playing well or you're playing bad, they're long Saturdays. And even though they're shorter games, they're long Saturdays.
Yeah, I want to say there was one game with Citadel. I think y'all had the ball maybe twice in the first half, maybe 3 times.
Yeah. No, over here a couple of years ago when we beat them, maybe my first year in 19, we only had the ball for like 19 minutes in the whole game. I mean, it's just part of it, and I promise you, I'm thankful. I'm thankful I don't play Army, Navy, Air Force, any of that bunch. So I'm good. I'm good.
Is cut blocking the rule that's kind of changed?
It's gone. So once you get out in the perimeter, you can't do it anymore, and that's kind of changed what those guys can do schematically a little bit. When everybody on the back end can stay on their feet, it's a lot harder to run that offense. We played Kennesaw last year, a little bit of that, and they still tried to incorporate some of that. And you worry about it because you got to take the fullback, you got to take the quarterback, and you got to take the pitch man. But if everybody in the secondary is standing on their feet, it makes it a whole lot better because there's nothing worse than seeing that arc player go hit the free safety and flip his feet up, over his head. And that's the thing they always say: cut the three, run for free. And I've seen it a bunch. I've seen it too much, honestly.
What have you learned about your football team these last 2 weeks going on the road? Kind of 2 different games. One's a little bit more close. One, you take advantage of their miscues and run away with it. Now that you settle into, I don't know about settle into home, back home games, but you get back home. But what have you learned from your team in those 2 road trips?
This group just continues to play. I don't think they get too high, they get too low, no matter what the circumstances have been. They were pretty businesslike Saturday, even though we had some things happening for us and guys were making plays and they were giving us some gifts. They just kept going out there, and you couldn't have told you couldn't have told the difference if that was a close game Saturday or one we were winning by that wide margin. They were out there with a business-like approach to it, trying to go execute, trying to get things done right. And it's hard. You get up 34-3, it's kind of hard to focus. I get that a little bit, and I called the timeout, and got after them a little bit about those things because I think it's important for them to understand they got to continue to try and play well as long as they have to in a game because there's going to come a time where we have to, and it'll be this Saturday, I'm sure. But I think that's been the biggest thing with that bunch is they progressively are doing things better, and they just kind of go play. And I don't think the moment's been too big for them or too hard for them. They just we got a job to do. We go out there and do it and do it as well as we can.
Is Sam Phillips just kind of a wait and see situation with him?
Yeah, we'll see how he does in practice. Didn't practice him today. We'll see how he does tomorrow, and kind of go from there. So try to practice him by Wednesday and Thursday and get him in there and see how it goes. But we got enough guys. I mean, everybody's got somebody hurt. I mean, you're in week 8, I guess it is, all the way around, so people got dings and ankles and shoulders and elbows and knees. So, it's all across the country, and we got guys, that stepped up last Saturday when guys got hurt, and it'll just continue to happen. And that's why you practice a certain way. It's why you prepare a certain way. And, Will Buchanan comes in for a minor and crim in the second quarter, and you couldn't tell. And then that's the thing. Guys have to do that. You can't be noticeable. You got to go in there and do your job and be good at it and just bust your butt. And if we're deficient somewhere, we'll have to figure out how to help them and do those things. But that's just what you do, especially at our level. I mean, at our level, when you lose good players, you have to be good coaches and figure things out sometimes.
I know you mentioned you like physical practices. Does it change at all when you get this late in the season, or is it that's who we are, we're going to keep doing it?
Well, that's kind of who we are to a certain degree, and I tell you, I think today might have been one of the most physical Tuesday practices we've had in a while, and I didn't have anything to do with it. They went out there and did it, and I was kind of shocked, honestly, a little bit, but I'm proud of them for that. Yeah, I mean, we got after it today now. It was fun down there. I mean, there was people getting stroked pretty regular. It was interesting. So I hope I still got them all, but And they did that. I mean, they went and did that, you know. But now, again, we do that. We got to go carry it over to Saturday. You know, that's the thing. But you can't practice soft and go play hard. You know, they know that. They know we can't practice well, practice bad, and go play well. And I think they understand that gives them confidence going into Saturday.
Probably could never have envisioned that when you first.
No, I don't think I was imagining that when I came out of high school. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I got to see some guys like Chris James, Harrison Moon. They did it, you know, when I was a younger guy here. So, but it is a little weird. I mean, I'm definitely the oldest guy on the team this year. There's no other seventh years, but you can definitely, you know, it feels a little different hanging out with 18-year-olds now than it did 5 years ago when I was 20.
Did they joke with you about your age?
Oh yeah, my birthday was last week. I got a lot of grandpa jokes.
What do you feel you bring to this team? Coach Wright has mentioned your name quite a bit when you're not on the field, injury and whatnot. Kind of what do you feel you bring to this team?
I think maybe just a sense of leadership. You know, I played a lot of football over my 6 years here, and you know, when you're playing college football for 6 years, you learn a lot of stuff. So I think, you know, the way I see the game brings a different, you know, asset to the team, and you know, I like to think of myself as a good leader. I'm always trying to pick up my teammates out there, making sure everybody's engaged, locked in, and you know, I think that area is one area I feel like I can help us out a lot.
You almost feel like a relief factor for your quarterback that he knows, okay, you know, this guy's going to handle this situation.
I think so. Chase actually said that in the middle of one of our drives Saturday. He's just like, I like having you out there. It's almost like having another quarterback out here. You know exactly what everybody's doing and, you know, where everybody needs to be lined up, and it just kind of makes my job easier is kind of what he said.
And do people ask you about your family very much? I think you're one of 10. Is that
Yes, I am. Not as much anymore, but yes, I've always been asked questions about that growing up. You know, I'm the 9th of 10 kids. I got 5 older sisters, 3 older brothers, and a little brother. And yeah, my family does come up in discussions every now and then. And normally it's revolved around people asking if I'm Catholic, Mormon, or if I have this. We all have the same parents.
Is it a chaotic lifestyle, or is it, you know, it's pretty normal as you know?
To me, it's normal. It's all I've ever known, and I'm the 9th of the 10 kids. So, you know, a lot of them were moved out by the time I was growing up in the house. But, you know, my oldest brother's 45, the youngest is 20. I got 13 nieces and nephews, so it gets a little chaotic at holidays, but that's about it.
I can't imagine the support you would have from a family like that. That's got to be cool.
It's awesome. Like, I don't think my parents have missed one of my games in college. Normally, a lot of my siblings that are in the area come to my games, almost all of them, and then their kids will come too. So, I mean, normally any home or away game, there's about 15 to 20 Gibsons in the stands.
You talk about the offense, man. You mentioned that, you know, kind of being another quarterback in the huddle. We start to see you guys start to gain a little momentum here, especially this past week. You know, what do you think's been one of the bigger keys, or that's sort of kind of getting you guys to kind of click on all cylinders here at the right time, really?
I think just getting more comfortable, everybody playing together. You know, our O-line's moved around a bit this year. We got some new starters. This is Reggie's first year really being our, you know, go-to running back. And then, you know, some new guys out wide at receiver and stuff like that. So I think it takes you a few games to, you know, get together and get that camaraderie, I guess you'd say, built. But I think if you look at it every week, I think we seem more comfortable as an offense. We're getting a little bit better. And I feel like run game offensively, our O-line and, you know, tight ends, I feel like we've been a little more physical the last few weeks, and I think that's helped us establish a little bit better of a run game.
When you play in this league, is every Saturday just almost like plug and play? Oh gosh, here's another tough to Wofford did. We had Furman last week. We've had Murray. It just seemed like every Saturday you just take another team, plug them in there, and it's, another hard game.
Right, exactly. Especially in the SoCon. If you're not ready to show up every week, I mean, anybody can beat anybody in this league, and I think we see that every year. Somebody that's at the bottom of the league ends up upsetting somebody at the top of the league at some point. So, you know, if you don't show up Monday through Friday and put in the work, then you're going to go out there Saturday, you're going to get beat. So I think that's kind of one thing for us. We got to make sure every day when we come in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that we're putting the work in required to, you know, be successful on Saturday.
Yeah, Coach just told us he felt today was one of the most physical Tuesdays y'all had all year, and it kind of surprised him, you know, given we're in week 8, I think you said.
Yeah, I would agree with Coach on that statement. I think, you know, as we were watching and practicing today, everybody kind of felt that, but I think that's what you got to have. You know, if you're not practicing good on good and doing stuff contact during the week, I don't really think you're going to be ready on Saturday, and that's kind of what Coach Wright preaches. And I like to think we have a pretty physical football team, and I think it's because of the way, you know, we practice.
Since you have been here 7 years, how many degrees do you have?
I have 2, and I'm working on a 3rd one.
Coach mentioned he believes Wofford's most improved team in the conference. I mean, you look back, recently they had quite the run there, winning the conference and being a playoff team. What have they improved on? What do you guys have to take seriously about Saturday, other than it being another football game? What are some things they've been doing well, better this year than last year?
I know defensively they're a very experienced group. I kind of look at them as not a Furman from last year, but defensively comparable to that. They got, I think, 7 or 8 seniors that start defensively for them, so they're a very experienced group. They're going to be where they need to be, and so we have to be able to execute offensively, do our assignment, all 11 guys, pushing in the right direction to find success. But I think that's one thing they've improved a lot. Their defense is really good, which they were last year as well, but they've gotten even better with age and stuff. And then, I haven't watched a lot of their offense, but it looks like they're moving the ball a lot better offensively this year as well.
I know you've been hurt a couple of times. How frustrating or hard is that to just have to sit there and watch and you can't be out there? I mean, that's just got to be tough, considering there's so few games in football to begin with.
It is pretty frustrating, and you're almost like, gosh, am I not supposed to be doing this? But, last year I had to sit on the couch for a majority of the season, and then, 3 games this year missing. It's not fun, but, when you're not there, you're stressed out at home watching on the couch. But, I've been at all the games that I wasn't playing in this year, and it's just, for me, trying to find ways that I can, help us win without being on the field. And that's, for me, looking at the looks the defense is given, communicating with the tight ends, telling them what I think I'm seeing, communicating with the O-line about, slants the defense is making or all that kind of stuff, and just, finding ways you can help out without being on the field.
Any more questions for Jay?
What are your 2 degrees and what's the 3rd one you're working on?
I got an undergrad in business management, master's in business administration, and then I'm getting, it's technically not a degree, it's a certificate in educational leadership.
How about a doctorate? Is it kind of hard in a way, or?
Not really. I mean, we really celebrate that Saturday, get ready that Sunday, and Monday, get ready back to work.
What makes Wofford, another tough SoCon opponent?
They always just play as physical. They physical and fast. They got a good beat on their offense, so that's what makes it a tough game for us.
How great is a game like that on Saturday, man, when you guys, it feels like everybody's getting a turnover, but also, not even just that, from the defensive side, it's seeing the offense cash in on the opportunities and really take over the game, 3 phases of football, if you will.
It feels awesome because it feels like the game just going in our favor and everything just flowing our way. So, whenever we create turnovers and the offense can capitalize off of them, it's always a good game for us.
Jim mentioned you've been here a while, but when you look at Jay, who's been here 7 years, you just go,
Yeah.
Is that hard to believe?
Yeah, it is, because when I first came in here, I was like 19. A lot of the older kids, they had a extra year. So, it's tough seeing him. He's 7 years, I think, 6 years. So I've been seeing him for a little while now. And now I'm about to come up on my senior year. So,
Are you one of those that call him grandpa or anything like that?
nah, I call him Ump, though.
You see a team like Wofford coming in there too, man. The coach called them the most improved in the conference. Offensively, what are some things or some challenges they're going to present for you guys?
They motion a lot. They try to do a lot of eye candy, so we got to put our eyes in the right spots and just run to the ball and be physical.
When you see a team do that, like you mentioned, eye candy, is it important just to stick to maybe fundamentals and base, and not dive into it much? Like, how do you pick and choose which ones to pay attention to? Is it just a little bit extra focus on film study this week, or what's going on?
Just paying attention, just go back to the fundamentals and just keeping your eye on your work. And just go to the basics from fall camp, the things that you've been working on since fall camp, and you just keep your eyes on. You see, my coach Wemby used to say, you see a lot, you see a little, but you see a lot, you see little. So,
what is eye candy in your mind? Is it they come out in different formations every set, or just a lot of motion, or kind of what is eye candy?
A lot of motioning just to get your eyes in a lot of places that you. Just to get your eyes in the wrong places. Just a whole bunch of eye candy.
Like maybe send a guy in motion this way, and then you don't pay attention to the guy coming in.
Yeah,
something like that.
Like having a tight end split out wide, and they motion the man, just they set up their run game.
Do you hate eye candy as a defensive player?
Not really. I don't really. I mean, it's just part of the game. You got to learn how to adapt. So,
Were you, I don't know if you ever played against the Citadel when they ran that triple option.
I didn't really play it my freshman year. I didn't really play that much that game, so I can't really tell you. But I played them last year, and they didn't have as much as the triple option, so I can't really answer that one for you.
Okay, that's all right.
How's it feel to be back at home too, man? You guys go on the road, you take care of business, you're set up in a pretty decent spot, but obviously you still got to take care of business being back at home. But how excited are you guys to get back in Findlay and then play in front of the home fans, and also kind of just get a little bit maybe comfortable, don't have to worry about getting in a bus and traveling, kind of get to sleep in your own bed and all that comes with it.
Yeah, it's very exciting being back at Findlay. The fans and the supporters are here with us, so we ain't got to really bring up. I mean, we still got to bring our own juice, but we got some more juice on our side of town now, so that's a good thing to just be back at home.
I know it's a whiteout. Coach thought it was kind of crazy. You are going to wear, I think, your stormtrooper white uniform, a white top or something.
Oh, they said we weren't all white, did we?
That's what he said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that, do you even care what you wear?
Nah, I don't really care what I wear too much, but I love wearing all white though.